Dicefunction Discussion, the official Dicefunctional podcast where a bunch of friends sit around, talk about their D&D game as well as other nerdy goodness, usually involving D&D, but sometimes we stray from that. It happens. Welcome on into the first of hopefully what are going to become some regular podcasts. I know we've kind of gotten away from it. There's been a lot of stuff going on. We're doing a lot here at Dicefunctional. If you guys aren't already aware and you haven't done the smart thing and searched your favorite place to get podcasts, YouTube or Twitch for Dicefunctional. If you haven't done one of those, I'm not quite sure how you're hearing this, but good job because you found us regardless. Next, after this is done, that's when you should be searching for Dicefunctional. Find us wherever it is you listen to podcasts, wherever you watch YouTube videos. I don't know. YouTube. I don't know how this works. Hopefully YouTube, but listen, the internet gets weird sometimes, and I'm not going to question it. If you're enjoying our content, watching our content, listening to our content, thank you. We appreciate you. Spread the word.
If you manage to find one of our videos on Pornhub, cool.
Link it to us. I swear.
Yeah, seriously, I gotta see that.
I want to, yeah. So that way we can yell at them, and then we can get our own channel on there and upload it there. We'll do it. If there are enough of you that link us to our videos on Pornhub, we'll do it. It'll happen.
Get us that Letterman jacket.
Yes.
God, who would wear that?
Ryan Creamer. I think that's
Probably.
his name.
Yeah. If we got one, yeah, I would wear one. Anyway.
Oh my God, it's a real thing.
Yeah.
Did you think I was kidding?
Yes. Oh shit, it's awesome. I want one.
I can't believe
Hell
that's
yeah.
the next goal for Dicefunctional after a couple other goals that we have. All right, you know what? Hey, those of you that are finding us on Pornhub, what up? God, that would be the weirdest thing.
Funniest
to roll into.
fucking thing.
Yeah.
I think my family would disown me. They won't disown me for anything except for going on Pornhub.
Right. Well, it's
even if it's not porn.
It's literally not porn, but you're on there. Listen, there are plenty of other things that I've done that I should be disowned for, especially with the way that Gail talks sometimes. But we're going to get to Gail here in just a moment. Before I do, if you haven't already heard and been able to figure it out today with me, I have the voice of the DM and sometimes actually the DM. We're not quite sure. We haven't seen them in the room at the same time. It's Conor, as well as the voice of Deah. It's Becca.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It has been. We're
Yeah.
trying to make this a regular thing, but hey, as of when we're recording this isn't exactly everyone's full-time thing just yet. So, yeah, that's what you get. You schedule it when you can, you do it when you can, and, if we keep going, we keep making stuff, and enough of you guys truly enjoy it, maybe one day we'll get to that point where we can be doing this full-time, all in the same studio, and on like a couple like super duper high quality cameras, even more high quality than the stream camera that I'm currently using, because that would be awesome. And then we can yell at somebody else other than Michelle, who's like doing other producing stuff, and I can yell at them to play a noise or something, or like change the lights. I would just randomly do that sometimes.
Play the duck sound.
Only the duck sound.
Need more ducks.
Do it on loop. Do the just a duck on loop for like a minute and a half.
Thank you, Conor.
Actually, it'd be nice too, because I would feel like I could actually like play something and I wouldn't need to like monitor my own audio.
You have a little soundboard.
Oh fuck!
Oh, yeah.
Doing that.
You can stop with the ducks now. Thank you. I appreciate you.
I could bring in my Go XLR to that and play random noises from my dude. That would be too much power. I don't think Michelle would allow that. Pretty sure I'd get in trouble. Anyway, we're not quite there yet. Right now, we're all in our setups, socially distancing by more than 3 times the recommended amount, which is as you know,
I think it's
very
a little
important.
bit more than 3.
That's why I said more than 3 times.
Okay, it's
Can
not
neither confirm-
inaccurate.
Yeah, it is not inaccurate. Very much not inaccurate. But hey, we're doing what we can. So we have a D&D game. That's a lot of fun. And a lot of craziness has been happening lately. A lot of it is centered around stuff that is all Deah. Because, let's see, a god who has given Deah power said, hey, go deal with a thing for me. And Deah went, well, you're a punk bitch, but sure, I'll do it. And then she went, hey, Fortune's Blade, I need help with a thing. And Fortune's Blade went, okay. So they
You're a
did the
punk
thing.
bitch, but will it?
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, that's a thing. And in the process of investigating it, and we found some ships, and it had to do with a bunch of these ships that had been going missing. And we found a ship that had a bunch of guns on it. And now we have those guns, and Ro hasn't just, like, stacked a bunch of them inside her coat and started pulling them out like Matrix style yet, which I'm waiting for, and it needs to happen. It needs to happen. My inner Matrix fan has not been sated yet, and it's sad. But they did that, and then we found an island after finding another island and fighting a dragon. And this other island had a guy, and it had a lot of people who were turning into fish people. And they tried to light the boat on fire, and a bunch of people failed to jump over a hole that Gale made. And then we found the guy who was the head fish person. And then we figured out that, hey, the people were fed a tentacle that was stolen from this Lord of the Sea guy. And that guy happened to be the piece of shit that had started the mutiny on Deah's old ship, so Deah wanted to gank the guy. So we found the guy after making a deal to meet the guy, killed him, and then ended this whole thing with talking to a being that was literally the size of the fucking sky. And the party walked away after Maddie sort of begrudgingly resurrected the guy, and then this god-ish thing killed him, and we've walked away. So yeah,
You are great at summarizing the
I'm
past few
really
sessions.
good at it.
You're really good
Really
at that.
good at it.
You know, for a DM, I expected you to be less surprised by the odd twist the story has taken.
I'm in reality, I wasn't like I was a little surprised. And I also, one of the things I do specifically try not to do is I specifically try to not sit there and think, what's going to come next? But if there's this, and I'm not doing the like string on the, the board with the, the clippings and the shitty pixelated photos, trying to piece it all out. I'm here for the story, man. I'm here to experience it as a player. So I'm trying really hard to do that. And it's actually really fun. So from a player's perspective, hella fun. Also, Gale does not think that far ahead in terms of certain things. So in order to stay in character, I'm not trying to piece the entire, like, space level view of the world together. I'm just kind of going, do I want a burger? Or do I want tacos for dinner? Like that level of thinking. Because that's very Gale until something like gargantuan, no, nothing implied there, puts itself in Gale's path, and then Gale has to go, okay, well, now we got to figure like this bigger issue out. Okay, we figured out the bigger issue. Now the next issue of I'm hungry, I want to find something to eat. Yeah, Gale's brain, everybody. It's a fun place. So, we're going to start by asking Deah some questions.
Okay.
About Becca. I'm just kidding. Questions about Deah. I wanted to see what people's reactions were going to be like, what the fuck?
Oh my god. Don't put me on the spot like that.
Yeah. First of all, is Deah aware? No, I'm just kidding. We've already established that
aware?
Gale's
She's
the only character that can break the fourth wall. We've already established this.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah. Because everyone else would be like, I don't understand what's going on. So Deah has been, what is the word I'm trying to think of? Very suddenly and almost violently, actually violently to a certain extent, been confronted by her past. So Becca, what was Deah's biggest fear going into this? And then right before we figured it out, it was her old captain. Was it something where she was like, this is definitely him. This is definitely him. He did this. This piece of shit did this. Or was it like, oh, crap, now I have to deal with this on top of dealing with Aristal?
Like at the very beginning of this, she definitely had the hope that she would avoid Alexander and her old crew because she wants to avoid that as much as possible. But it very quickly, like very early into this quest line, she got the information that no, he was like totally involved here. And it is like, well, I guess it's time to take care of this business because she's actually known that Alexander has been a problem for at least a year now in game, which I think I mentioned it in game, but I don't know how many people like really realize that, because like she was trying to sort of track his movements a bit, but she didn't want to deal with it, so she just had this information and was like, this is someone else's problem, and then it became her problem. So by the time it got to that point, she's like, I don't want to deal with it, but if I don't want to piss off God and 1,000 dead people, I guess I have to. It was still kind of rough to confront them. Like she was, when you saw when she was like talking to after Alexander was dead, and we were doing the parlay with the other ship with the Temptation. She was very reluctant to like fight them. She didn't want to fight them at all, even though they were not happy to see her. And she's very mixed about Alexander and will probably continue to be very mixed about him. Because like he did, lead the mutiny and so she thought kill her old captain and try to kill her back then and now, which is like total betrayal. But I mean, they still had several years where they were on the same ship and working together, and it's hard to just undo all that. Like there was a time when Alexander was considered, and the rest of the crew that stayed on the Temptation, like there was a time when they were all considered like family, but it just got rough. And now she knows that her old captain isn't actually dead, and the people who defended her are also not dead. And it is quite the shock to the system, to say the least.
Yeah.
But
So what's worse, knowing that that thinking that they were dead and accepting the fact that they were dead and essentially died saving you, or knowing that they're now alive and because of their involvement in saving you kind of have met these kind of unknown fates where there's, at least we know with the captain, something kind of residual potentially came of your captain going to your aid. Is that more rough, or was it more rough thinking, oh my gosh, like people died to save me? For Deah.
Oh boy. Well, she knows for sure that Sam is alive. The old cook. Ha! Because he responded. She technically doesn't know that Shadi's alive. Thank you, Connor. And she's definitely going to check on them soon for trying to get the dream spell in some way so that she can visit them remotely and sort of check up on them. But like they seemed okay, maybe that so she's happy they're alive. And if they're alive and well, she would definitely prefer that over dead trying to rescue her, because that's sort of like a life debt thing to someone that you can never repay because they're dead. And she's definitely the type to like, she doesn't like being indebted to someone. It's like, and if she makes a promise, she tries to keep it. But you know, if someone giving their life for you is something that can never be repaid, like even if they were like alive and she couldn't ever like truly repay that during their, you know, the rest of their life, that's better because there's always that like chance, or like they know your gratitude, they, you know, and they're still alive. But if they're dead, it's like that's something you could never give back. And they don't know how you are, and they don't know the gratitude you feel because they're gone. And that's a lot harder. But for the captain, though, she who apparently doesn't remember her at all, she would definitely prefer death to not knowing her, because that's it's hard to deal with.
That maiming kind of permanent damage sort of thing. Yeah. It's an interesting thought. And kind of too, so Jess left a couple questions in the Discord. To kind of piggyback off of that, is Deah more willing to go to Percretia now to find more answers than she was before?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Answers must be found.
They must be found. This is something like I'm feeling myself choke up a little bit, because it's like, it's so like her captain is so important to her. And like, especially since her brother is no longer with her, because kind of in her life it was like the two major people, and it was her brother and her captain, and her brother in her mind abandoned her, and that just leaves her captain, who never truly did, except that he apparently doesn't have a memory, and he's older, and he looks older than she left him. So we're not starting by going to Percretia. Like, part of the, like, we have plans. She's trying to gather information, but if it requires going to Percretia, she's definitely going to want to go there. But it's also kind of balancing the team's wishes against her own. Because she wouldn't want to like force people to go to Lucretia, because that's dangerous. She'll put herself in the danger, but God forbid anyone else does.
Put him in the danger zone.
Yeah,
Don't be doing that.
Lucretia's just a whole giant danger zone.
Everything's bad. It's just you can smell the death. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I know for one, I'm really excited to see kind of how this all plays out. And as much as we've gotten a lot of answers, and now we know a lot more about Deah, and I think Fortune's Blade definitely knows a lot more about Deah.
Oh yeah.
Going
Finally know
from-
her backstory.
Yeah, we actually know something.
You can't make jokes about it anymore.
Yeah, I know. We might actually know more about Deah's journey so far than Gale's, which is never thought I would say. But there you go. Yeah. It's pretty cool. And I don't know if you feel the same way, but I feel like it's going to be very interesting kind of diving down this rabbit hole of what actually happened, because clearly Deah has missed a couple seasons of the anime here. That was everything that was happening. Like, something happened. There was a lot, and we clearly missed it. So, how does a captain of a pirate ship go to either making a deal with some sort of creature or enslaving it in some way? We don't really know, because he just squished the guy, and then now at least a couple of them are alive, but one of them can't remember. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. So there's a lot more to explore. What do you think is the thing that you're looking forward to most learning about, again, the episodes that were missed?
Just like, I don't know, just like what the fuck happened. Yeah, the next step in this sort of investigation, I guess, is just finding out what happened immediately following, jumping ship. That's her current goal, which maybe we'll find out next session. I don't know. It depends.
Next time.
Depends on what Conor has in store.
Exactly. Speaking of things that Conor has in store, Mr. Voice of the DM, I thought of that on the way home and I had to use it. So there was a pretty big reveal that may have gotten clipped and put on social media. Which is awesome that we're using webcams now, because I don't think that moment would have been
anywhere
nearly as
perfect.
magnificent.
God.
Despite being absolutely a magnificent moment, it wouldn't have been even close to as magnificent as it ended up had it not been for webcams showing the players' reactions. Conor, would you like to share the reveal that was made, seeing as this is part of the story that you concocted, sir?
Yes. So the reveal was that Jim, the bar cat that the party had met all the way back in session 1 of the game, was actually a lich who had messed up the creation of his phylactery, and then didn't notice it and died and came back as a cat. And you also found out that his real name is Tahawajin, and he was being called Jim as a bastardization of his original name. The entire
and
time.
we met his friend Hungeron, who has been our lich friend the whole time.
The whole time.
Oh my gosh, that was pretty cool. That was really cool.
I will say, as a DM, the greatest thing about that was there was always this how do I describe this? This sword hanging by a thread the entire time. That was someone eventually figuring out what Jim was, and there were multiple ways that this could have happened. Like, you could have, if one of you had managed to poke around Avero's home in the few times you got there, because I think you went there once to like pick up weapon or something like that. If one of you had been poking around enough and you found the phylactery, there would have, of course, been the question of, Avero, why do you have this phylactery in your home? Which would have revealed it. If Jim had died in any way, that would have revealed it. or at the very least, really raise some serious questions like, how'd you come back to life? But the best thing about it was easily the reactions. Watching Jess, Becca, and Michelle all had these very surprise, like unexpected reactions. Jill had a reaction that I could only describe as fury and just pure joy that she was right that something was weird. And it was mostly fury because she looked like she was ready to fucking strangle somebody.
Oh yeah.
Really, unfortunately, Jace was the hardest to read. But yeah, basically that entire thing was ready from day one.
Yeah, I was just sitting there smiling. I'm like, that's a good one.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Well, because it made sense. It's a very easy thing to do. A phylactery is made to recreate a body, so it stands to reason that if you mess up the creation of that phylactery, well, who's to say it has to make a human body?
Yeah. If you load in the wrong schematics, it's gonna keep making the wrong schematics.
Yep. That was more or less the entire idea behind Jim. What if a lich made a mistake? That's it. That was it. Who would they become? What would they do? And eventually there came a point where I suppose Jim just stopped giving a shit, and he suddenly became
he embraced the cat.
Well, he started to fit more and more into that personality that was already there with the creature he had become. So it just the act of not caring became perfect.
Yeah. That whole act natural thing, right?
Yeah. That's certainly why it worked out so well for him.
Oh yeah.
He was just acting natural. You know.
For sure. So I gotta ask, the reveal of Jim, was that your favorite reveal so far, or was something like revealing that Minerva was a dragon?
Fuck. I'd say the reveal from Minerva was whenever a reveal is more planned, it doesn't feel as good. And Minerva's reveal was always kind of planned. Like there were hints, definitely.
Yeah.
But,
I figured it out immediately.
Yeah, you figured it out immediately. Pissed me right off. Jace sends me a message. Hey, is Minerva a copper dragon? I'm like, you motherfucker. Because they got it in one, and it pissed me right off.
The problem was I had been writing a bunch of dragon related stuff, and one of the characters that I was writing literally was a copper dragon. So immediately it was like, that's literally the description of a copper dragon in human form. I need to ask this.
Whoops.
So, yeah.
Well, it's just like I left the obvious clues, you know, copper hair, eye has kind of a coppery green color to it.
The eyes did tip me off, but I kind of like didn't go into it.
Yeah, you didn't go farther and far enough.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jace got it in one, pissed me off.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, by its nature, reveals that are planned aren't as fun. They're still fun, yes, but they're not the same. There's a certain amount of joy that you get when they finally figure it out. When they finally find it out. And when people manage to figure it out on their own, that's even better. You know? Like, it's one thing to drop the hints and leave the breadcrumbs. It's another to just completely hide the trail and then watch as the team suddenly finds an odd bit of the trail and goes, this is weird. This doesn't make sense. And they remember it. And then they keep going on with their day and they find another bit of it and they go, that's really weird. That doesn't make sense at all. And then eventually when they figure it out, all those pieces come back together and they go, oh, holy shit, it makes so much sense now.
Yeah.
And that is to die for. And honestly, I would say, Jim's reveal was my favorite, hands down. There has been no other reveal that has come anywhere close to making me enjoy it that much.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it literally started as a joke of, "Hey, we can make a, we could literally make a cat delivery service." Oh, holy shit!
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah. It all started with you guys being like, "Oh, we need to get a cake. We need to get a cake for a birthday." I was like, "Really? This is what?"
It's important, Connor.
It's those weird moments of inspiration where you're like, "Oh, wait, this is a thing."
Well, then it's like I will say there was this little part of me where midway through, like where I was seeing where this is gonna go, my brain was like, "No, no, this can't be. This can't be the moment they figure it out.
No.
After they sent Jim to go play messenger boy and get cake for them. No." Yup.
D&D.
Yep.
It's just completely anachronistic. It's like a moment of the reveal. It's some big epic thing. Jim, get his cake.
Yeah. Because we want cake on our ship while we're going to sail to essentially meet a great old one. Yeah. This is
Someone
totally a
could've
normal
died.
time.
Yeah.
It's
And I will say
yeah.
there's, in a way, that is also something I do enjoy, not just about like D&D and like not just about this game, but like D&D in general. Because in my mind, if a D&D game is done properly, not just like being run, like I'm not tooting my own horn, but I mean like being played as well. The game will naturally have these moments where you will have absurdity and humor mixing in with these sudden amazing reveals. You're like, what? I didn't see this coming. And it feels natural because honestly, that's life. Amazing things happen in the dumbest ways.
Oh, yeah.
The most astonishing things and the most heartbreaking things can happen minutes after some of the best experiences you'd ever have. And that's life. That's how it is. So when this happened, in a way, I was a little bit, I was like, I don't know, a little miffed. I don't know. I was just a little like, what the fuck? They figured it out now. But still, there was
you
something.
fell ass backwards uphill into like the actual treasure trove while just chasing after a squirrel. Like, how the fuck
How'd you
did
do
this
this?
happen? Yeah.
But it also, at the same time, there was something that felt very natural about it. So I couldn't. There was no point where I was going to fudge it or cheat. I was just gonna be like, yeah, this is happening, and it makes sense. People find out weird things just doing random shit. It happens.
Yeah.
And it
Literally could not script it.
No, you couldn't. You couldn't have. Because if you scripted that, people would have thrown away the script and been like, what the fuck is this bullshit? That's dumb.
Like, no. This is not how this works. No, you don't understand. This is how Fortune's Blade works. It's the dumb comment of Gale telling Ro to ask her gun about a thing, and then all of a sudden, nope, there's a whole other thing to your gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was another thing that I kind of wanted to have it come up later, like earlier, with the with
gun like sensing things.
Yeah, with almost with the Rosenvales, but also I was like, the gun right now the gun isn't exactly. I don't know. With it attached to Ro, like the gun is just a gun right now. So I can't see it. But then you guys had a brief period of time where you guys were doing your own thing, and I went, okay, sure, I can see it happening now. But yeah, the gun sensing bloodlust, which is more or less a fancier in-game way of saying that it's sensing CR, more or less.
Yeah.
It's sensing that something's strong. I just went, that's a cool idea. Because it was. I was like, I think it's interesting because like people have made sentient weapons that can sense life or sense thought or whatever, but I haven't really ever heard of one that can sense something that is just strong. You know?
Yeah.
There is something strong nearby. You need to be worried. You know?
Yeah. Sort of like an advanced danger sense sort of thing.
Yeah, almost.
Something like that.
Yeah, but it was just a fun little thing that you managed to bring up, and it went, oh, that works.
Yeah.
This fits in perfectly now. There you go.
Those are always I always enjoy those.
Oh, it's
It's like,
great.
oh yeah, we're just going about our day. Oh, there's a thing. Cool. I'll remember that. Also, see, I love watching Jill's reactions to those things. This is just.
It helps that she's such it helps that they're such an expressive individual.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like getting a camera on Jill was perfect.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
It's easily the best thing that we have because you can see them just reacting the entire time, like, huh, huh, huh.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's brilliant. It works.
Oh yeah. Now, one other question that I have. So this is going back a few podcasts. Talking about the characters in general. So Connor, you made a comment about the characters of Fortune's Blade being more like tropes that were just starting to get that little seed of like an actual like full-fledged character in them.
Yeah.
Now
because
that we are,
God,
it was absolutely true. 100% true at the time.
How long ago was that?
It was probably close to a year ago.
Yeah, that must be.
Yeah, I was like, that's gotta be one of the like first podcasts.
Yeah. Oh
like,
yeah. I was talking to Jess about this the other day. I'm like, holy crap. We were literally like, we were just like reflecting on the episode. I'm like, it's funny how we're more like characters, and there's more like interaction, and there's like this weird like realness to it. And Jess brought up how Gale and Mercy are constantly bickering like brother and sister over the dumbest shit, like the stick of truth. It makes no sense, but they bicker like brother and sister, and that's just a through thing that we've had for a while now.
It just works. It's something you guys stumble into, and you kept going with it because it worked.
Yeah.
If it wasn't something that felt natural, it didn't make sense. Yeah, you probably would have stopped.
Yeah.
But like, the more you did it, the more you're just like, oh, this is good, and it became very natural for you guys to do so.
Yeah, exactly. So I gotta ask, I gotta get an update, because and the Gale Mercy thing isn't the only thing that we've seen. We've seen a lot of interactions. We've seen a lot of, I guess, choices that may on the surface, if you're just looking at the trope of whatever the character represents, are definitely not indicative of that trope that the characters have absolutely made, and they've been 100% in character and brilliantly played out. What would be your updated thoughts on that?
As of now, they're considering the different time. There's absolutely a difference in the characters then and the characters now. Really, when it began, you could put a trope to every character. Gale is dumb, tough, scary, but nice.
Yeah.
Mercy is snarky, tough, nice, likes dogs. You could really describe the characters to a T within a sentence.
Deah is edgy.
Okay, all right.
Morrigan steals things. Ro likes to sleep with people and drink.
Sleep.
And just sleep. Like you could make these snap determinations easily. As of now, it takes a little bit more time. There are still some characters that I think definitely still have some more growing to them.
Edgy.
I mean, Deah is still edgy, but at the same time, it's one of those things where she has to grow more. She finally she's finally at a point where she's gonna feel like she has this weight off her shoulder. At least I imagine so.
Yeah, she's been kind of holding herself back. I will admit to that, but
yeah, like she finally has the chance where she's not. She doesn't have to deal with the thought that, oh man, my captain might be dead, and there's still this guy who's a danger and killing people and yada 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 yada. It's finally gone away, so there's no longer anything to hold her back. So I think we'll probably see a little bit more of Deah stepping out of her shell. I'll just vocalize my predictions right now.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I'm calling the shots.
You as the DM, you have to. You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've gotten
I want to
pretty
hear
decent
it.
at it, I think. Gale, I think Gale as a character really he grew the fastest. Just I think mostly by liberty of Jace being a DM.
Yeah.
You know how to do it. You know how to play a character. So it's
Mhm.
more it's just easier for you to step in those shoes and start walking.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, to say that that Gale's going to grow more is no. I don't know what else would happen with Gale. Anything else that occurs will just be natural.
Don't go so far out on a limb, Connor. You can't do that. Come on now.
It just if anything's going to happen to Gale, it's I have no plans for like a personality change or
Well,
whatever.
Jace, Jace, do you even know what Gale's gonna do next? 'Cause
No.
I'm not sure you do.
I know they don't.
No, there's sometimes I literally do something with Gale and I'm sitting there afterwards going, "What the
Why did I
fuck,
do
Gale?
that?
What
I
are
was
you
going
doing?"
through Gale's head there. I don't know.
The whole Gale piecing together that the tentacle had been stolen and that this god of the sea was just an angry like animal, that was almost more Gale brain than Jace brain, because I was just like, oh fuck. Yeah, no, that I was sitting in Gale's head the whole time. That makes sense. We're gonna go with this. You know, like, yeah. Plus Gale has a whole bunch of stuff about his backstory that he hasn't even talked about. Like,
Yeah.
there are miles and miles and miles of Gale, and I also don't even know what Gale's gonna do half the time. So yeah, yeah, absolutely.
What's the saying? Like slow waters run deep or something like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
something
and
like
that's
that.
that's very much like the whole thing with Gale is that yeah, he's a basic character. Like there's no getting around it. Most barbarians tend to be basic characters. This is a barbarian that has a religion to him or has a faith, but still ultimately Gale is Gale.
Gale has gone through so much. I mean, the whole depression talk with Maddie, it's just like, whoa, like you just literally understands the universe. But
I need to say that one thing. The one character that took me out of fucking left field, Jolly.
Yeah.
Jolly and Maddie's depression took me out of fucking left field. I did not expect it. We did not discuss it. We did not converse about it. I didn't know it was happening. It just happened. I went, what?
Oh yeah.
And for reference on that, I was so surprised by it that literally when Jolly as Maddie started talking like that, I privately sent her a message like, dude, are you okay? Because I was like concerned.
You weren't the only one.
I wasn't the only one. Kate did it too.
Yeah.
Because neither one of us saw it coming. We were both like, wait, hold on, what?
Oh yeah. I think that is like the surprise reveal so far, next to Jim. But it was Maddie literally joining because she was depressed and wasn't sure if she wanted to continue. Yeah.
And like it suddenly makes a lot more sense. Like, and that's not me just saying it, but like I mean, once you finally step back and look, it goes, oh, that makes a lot of sense. She, like, I in the process of her creating Maddie, I did kind of poke at her. I was like, dude, what are you doing? You're making a character that's walking around with a spoon? She's a chef? What? I mean, I can do it. I'm sure we could find out a way to make this work, but how's this? Okay, sure. And like, then she came out with that reveal, and I went, oh.
Yeah.
This makes sense now.
I think to add to the weird, it's weird that she ended up meeting up with Gale, who is so protective, and still for reasons that have not even been touched, absolutely is like, I need to protect her, and is all like, I have walked this, I have had those feelings, and my whole thing is protecting like just your own personal light. So like, no, I'm not gonna let that happen. It's weird, man.
It really was.
Yeah.
but yeah, really, Maddie will be an interesting character to watch. Mostly because like I think once Jolly really feels more comfortable, talking as her, which, it's one of those things that it kind of just happens, I suppose.
Mhm.
I think we'll see some pretty remarkable things coming from her. Jill is again another one of those people who I expect I would like to see more from, because Ro is one of those characters that has a lot of potential.
Mhm.
And I fully predict that we're gonna see Ro kind of stepping a little bit more into kind of the mad scientist ish angle. Not in
Seems
the
like it. Yeah.
not in the traditional sense though. I say mad
Mhm.
scientist and you think intelligent. With Ro, it feels more like a mad scientist that's going by the seat of their pants and doing stuff that just seems like fun. And that just seems fitting, really.
Like the Mad Hatter.
Like the Mad Hatter, yeah. And I have a feeling that Jill's going to be doing a lot more talking with that gun.
Mhm.
And going to be figuring out a lot more things with that gun. Mercy, let's see. She's eventually going to have to wind up dealing with her main problems. There's no getting around that.
Mhm.
So eventually she's going to have to go back to Patricia. I'm willing to bet money that we'll see that happen. Haru, that's Haru,
Yeah. We haven't even gotten to the point where we've learned a lot about Haru yet. We gotta.
No, Haru is still kind of the mystery fox dude.
Oh yeah.
Which, whatever. Erudite, I'm pretty sure Erudite's always going to be a bit prissy. Always going to be kind of a brat at certain points.
Take that, Michelle. I know you're listening.
There's no getting around it. With that said, the willingness to step forward and start looking more into this secret life that my game just crashed. Fuck. That her adoptive father had, is also going to lead to more interesting revelation. So that'll be fun. Am I forgetting somebody? Hold on. Check. No, I'm not. Okay.
No.
But yeah, you guys still have a lot of things you can poke around at.
Yeah.
Hell, if you want, you can just go off and do shit. I won't stop you. So it'll just be fun to watch and see what happens. That's my favorite thing about this.
Oh yeah. I think for right now, I know a lot of people have talked about this, and especially with, and I'm going to use Jess's last question here to kind of pivot to that and kind of going off of character growth. Jess asked about specifically for Gale. Gale essentially talked down a gigantic monster, got a reward that he wasn't expecting, and asking how Gale felt about all of that and the future the party potentially has in other peaceful solutions. I think that's a cool thing that's been happening more often, is especially for Gale, and Gale really likes this. And maybe this is a surprise to some of you, maybe it's not. Gale doesn't like just going out and wholesale killing people or monsters or anything. Gale sees a bit of life in everything until it's like completely evil. Like think something like Misfortune, something like La Croix, where you're just doing really bad shit and you're laughing about it, like for no reason. So Gale doesn't like that, but like everything else, like seeing the whole situation with like with the village, Gale's like, well, if they're being forced to do a thing, then maybe they're not all bad, and maybe we shouldn't just burn the village and move on. And having that succeed has been really reassuring for Gale. And saving another village has been really reassuring. And I know Gale personally is really hoping that we can come to, especially in future adventures. Now, there will be times when you just got to fight a thing and potentially kill it. But I know, for one, Gail's definitely hoping that there could be other solutions other than, we just have to find a way to kill it. Okay, no, maybe there's a better solution that we can come up with. And kind of going along with all of that. I know that we're looking at, the crew is looking at doing more in the way of, hey, we're going to do other things. We're going to adventure and try and learn and find other things that exist. Maybe a little bit more RP and stuff like that. So maybe not so much, hey, we have to deal with a great old one or someone who's great old one-esque for once. But, have more of those character development moments, and I think that'll be really cool.
Well, the Lord of the Sea was friendly. Come on. Don't be mean.
Very friendly. Very friendly. Gale and him had a very good conversation. He was just minorly frightening. Minorly frightening is what we'll go with.
Yeah, I know.
Literally, I had to make saves against it. Literally minorly frightening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
It was one of those things where I was like, I mean, there's no getting around it. This thing is the size of a large island. It's horrifying.
Yeah. It's like, oh, this is actually the thing that I have to talk to. Great, cool, okay.
Yeah, honestly, in one regard, I'm happy to see that you guys managed to find a peaceful solution for Lord of the Sea.
Mm-hmm.
In another regard, man, I had a fun map ready.
I'm sure. Especially as you were describing it, I'm going, my DM brain's going, there's probably lair abilities, there's probably this, we're going to have to deal with all sorts of resistances and legendary actions.
Oh, there was no fighting. There was no fighting it from the outside. I think it was I think it was you that said it at one point, who made the suggestion as Gale to go inside of it and fight it. That was basically what you'd have to do. You would have had to have swum underwater down to its mouth, which is on the underside of its body. Swim up inside of it, get swallowed by it, and then go through its body and find the heart and kill it. Yes, that would have been the only way to kill it.
Oh my god!
It's literally the size of an island.
Yeah, you're not gonna just stand up against it and fight it. That's
a dungeon. We're going into what's his name? Jabu's belly.
Jabu's belly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're literally just doing Jabu's belly.
Oh, it was not gonna be anywhere near as nice as Jabu's belly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the worst one too. I struggled with that one so much when I was younger.
Well, no, it was not gonna be a puzzle. Because basically the entire idea was, well, it's a giant monster that is literally the size of, well, an island. I'm sure it definitely has stuff inside of it, but it couldn't be a normal sized parasite. So, and you were going to be fighting things that were like parasites, but they were giant because, well, look at what it's living in.
Because why not?
Well, it just made sense.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
But also, that was going to be if everything went to shit and you guys just went, fuck it, we're killing it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I would have been like, okay. Fight the giant monster, guys. Have fun.
Yeah.
Good luck. And that would have been that.
Yeah.
That was... That would have been on y'all basically at that point. If y'all wanted to fight the giant monster, okay, go ahead, have a kaiju battle. I won't stop you.
Yeah. No, those are just boy.
Yeah, but yeah, I loved making the Lord of the Sea. That was so much fun.
Oh, I would hope so. It was a really, really cool.
Oh, it's just I was just driving one day and went, what if, Deah still needs something. What if this is it? And the idea kind of came to mind, and I literally went home and I drew it, and the drawing is pinned to my cardboard, like poster board or whatever it's called right now,
Mhm.
because I just had to put it down and get it out onto paper, and it just kind of made sense.
Well, there you go. There you go. All right. So we're going to wrap this up here, but before we get it all wrapped up, real quick, because I like doing this,
You know,
in about 4 or 5 sentences, what are you most looking forward to in the next few sessions? We'll start with Becca.
I don't know. Dreaming. RPs. You know, getting that fat role play. Yeah.
Dat fat role play. You heard it here first.
I don't know.
Oh, no, you put me on the spot. I put everybody on the spot. That's the best part about running the podcast. I get to put everyone on the spot. Exactly. Connor.
My response is much in the same way it will be for most days. I'm content to watch and see what happens. Because ultimately, while I am in control of the game, I still have to respond to your actions, and I feel that while I may shape the world, while I may create the world, you guys shape it and you make it more interesting. So it's more fun to just see what you guys are going to do.
Well, we'll see what we order cat service for next. Me personally, to finish this out, I'm looking forward to Gale maybe telling a little bit more of the backstory. I'm excited to see Maddie actually confront her parents, and I'm excited for a potential heist involving furniture in the Sapphire. But that's going to do it for this episode of the podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Connor and Becca, for joining me. I appreciate you guys.
No problem.
I'm excited to see what happens next. And if you guys want to see what happens next, you can either check us out on YouTube. You can check us out on your favorite podcast services. Just search Dicefunctional, or you can tune in live every Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern, twitch.tv/Dicefunctional, where you can watch it unfold live. And in the future, if you have any questions, you can always tweet at us at Dicefunctional with an _. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Have an excellent day. Be excellent to yourselves. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
You.